greatest voice of all times. Period. That's it.
Show your love for Belinda Davis.
For me, Whitney is everything. Yeah. Great artist. Legendary.
That was the moment we've been waiting for. Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew. Okay, guess what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with the news of the 2025 budget. Of course, it's being discussed right now in the House of Parliament. This is day 3, I believe, yes, day 3 of the budget discussions. Of course, it started off rocky, and now we are at the point where it's time to grandstand. The wonderful MPs had about an hour, 1 hour or 58 minutes to talk and ask questions about the 2025 budget. Now, I know you're thinking, the first thing that you're going to think about is, wait a minute, I hope these politicians actually took time and read the 2025 budget. Clearly not, because the shenanigans that took place during the last budget debate was pretty interesting. Everybody was a bit cutthroat, but the points came across as if the politicians just woke up and said, hey, you know what? I think I'll actually do some work today. Because it's impossible that these lovely parliamentarians forgot all the situations that's been happening to St. Martin the whole time, and now they are coming out with damning information so that everybody can see how incompetent the government is. But you knew the problems were there because you just come from there. You see where the problem is, National Alliance and up. And then you have the now also, which is, of course, the de facto leader, Batman, calling all kind of thing in Parliament yesterday. You know, the man actually had the gall to say that the Minister of Justice, Natalie Tacklin, even though you just come a month ago, immigration is in trouble. Nigga, what? Nigga, who? You just come from being the Minister of Justice. You was in charge of it. What is going on? Somebody tell Batman, send him a light, send him a sign, send him a bat. Because he got to go Arkham. That's a comic joke. You're going to get it one day. All right, let's go into the highlight. We start off with, of course, Batman being really concerned about what is happening right now in St. Martin. Take a look.
Madam Chair, I have questions for the Minister of Justice. What immediate actions is the Ministry of Justice implementing to curb the rise in criminal activities, particularly violent crimes such as shootings and robberies? Are there any special operation or task forces in place to address these concerns? One of the key challenges in reducing crime is building trust between law enforcement and community. How is your ministry enhancing community policing efforts? And what initiatives are being introduced to foster better relationships with the public? The effectiveness of law enforcement heavily depends on the proper training and resources. How is the Ministry of Justice ensuring that the police officers or justice workers on a whole are well trained, equipped, prepared to deal with the rise in crime rates and evolving challenges? The quality of life for law enforcement officers is crucial for their well-being and effectiveness. What improvements are being made to their working conditions, including mental health, support, workload management, and overall morale? Minister of Justice, through you, Madam Chair, I would like to bring to your attention a matter that has been growing concern for many of the constituents, and one that I personally been receiving numerous calls and messages about, is the issues pertaining to the ongoing backlog in the immigration application, specifically concerning as well the humanitarian process. Many applicants who have gone through their interviews during my tenure as Minister of Justice and have received positive outcomes are still waiting for an update on their status. This delay has created uncertainty and frustration among those who have been waiting for what seems like an indefinite period. Despite meeting all the necessary requirements, Minister of Justice, we have laws and regulations in this country. The turnaround time for applicants at the Immigration Office is within 4 months. I do understand the understaffing, but there was a shift after I left where I saw a memo of certain people that were shifted and put into positions in order to make this thing better. You are in office now for more than a month, and these civil servants are not working. Particularly the first one on that list. I will not call the name, but you can review that memo. That person asked me to place them in that position. But when they were working, I did not see any effective working habits or ethics to push these applications while they were in the position that they were in. And today, after I saw the sabotage against the people of this country, be it illegal or legal, or those that have recurrent applications are being turned down. Minister, we are here talking about the budget of this country, and St. Martin need to know where the money is going to come from. These monies can come from those applications. The Justice Ministry can be a very lucrative ministry and not a liability on the people of this country. I am begging that you sort out your work, sort out these individuals that are undermining this ministry and stopping it from making the money that it needs. Because the same 44 point something million that is needed to pay the justice workers does not come forth in this budget. And I'm saying the burden is going to come from where? I am seeing that in the Netherlands, we are saying we want to swap this, we want to swap that, but what is going on with the payment for the justice workers? How we as government officials, as parliament, as government is taking it serious on paying out these justice workers. Every time a government change, there is always a setback. There's always a setback in the case that a new minister has to review policies, have to understand the policies, and have to see where we're going to get this money from. I am saying today, there are many things within the immigration department that is being halted, that mandate and power is given to certain civil servants that are holding back the people's life in this country. Applications in no way can be from 2022 and 2023. People are still waiting an answer on their application. And that you have individuals who does not understand their role is to advise a minister, not decide on behalf of a minister. Because today I still have to deal as a representative of this country, take calls at all type of hours and hear people crying about their status in this country because they are not getting an answer from the Minister of Justice, and particularly the individuals that are put in place to handle these, to alleviate that on you, Minister, through you, Madam Chair, are doing what they want in office. It is criminal, not only to the people of this country, but to our economy. And this is the right platform that I say this because we are elaborating on the budget of St. Martin. So through you, Madam Chair, Minister, you have some homework to do. Like I said, we can sit and we can discuss this situation because certain people that are being promoted and put in positions should not be there as they are holding back the people in this country. And the lucrativeness that can come from within the department is put on an absolute hold because of certain grievances.
All right, sit back, relax. There's a lot more. It's going to get rocky, it's going to get interesting, but we're going to have some fun. Let's begin.
What is it?
Guess what? I got an idea. It's amazing. You see how we have the link sharing all everywhere?
QR link,
the
yeah.
QR link?
Yeah.
Raw Caribbean Channel app. You're welcome. Put it in the back.
But it's not an app though. It's not an app. App you have to like download something to get it on your phone, take up space. It's not an app.
It's like an app. Therefore, it can be an app. So, it's an app. Raw Caribbean TV app. Say it with me, Al. Come on.
It's not an app though. All you gotta do with that, it's a link. You take the link, you hit the bookmark, you say add to home screen, and so it shows up like an app icon, but it's not an app though.
Are you a real person? It is an app because you get to watch all the programs from Raw Caribbean at one place. It is an app.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but factually and technically, it's not an app. Kind of like we do the news, facts,
Yeah.
and you do that thing you do.
Whoa.
Point being, you just go to the QR, you hit bookmarks, and you hit add to home screen, and then you can have the link to, let's give it another name.
The app.
You want to call it the app?
Raw Caribbean TV app.
Jess.
Yes.
Jess, please, give please some sense, Jess. Jess.
It's kind of like an app.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
It's not an app, though. It's not a f***ing app. What the f***? It's not a f***ing app.
You kiss your mother with her mouth? My God. Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Yes.
It's not an app, though.
Okay, all right. I hope you had your break because it is time whereby I let you know that it is the best time in St. Martin history for us to start to shut down all casinos right now. And who agrees with me is MP Ray Peterson of the PFP, who said in the House of Parliament, you know, Madam Chair, I think we got too many casinos. So, Madam Chair, with all due respect, it's time to shut it the down. Anyway, let's see the presentation.
I then move on to the Ministry of Theatre. For the Ministry of Theatre, a really important issue that I would like to address, Madam Chair, is that of the casinos. It might be one of those things, one of those few things that I agree with my colleague MP York on, but I personally think that it's also getting ridiculous what's happening here in St. Martin. And I think that it's about time that we start treating gambling for what it is, a disease, an addiction that needs to be tackled. I saw in a presentation by the Minister of Theatre that this year studies will start to look at the statistics. I say that the Gambling Addiction Prevention Research is going to commence this year, so I commend the Minister for that. But the numbers that you have mentioned before, they're not giving a proper view of how bad things really are. To give you an example, Madam Chair, if I walk 2 minutes from my apartment there in Cold Bay, I'll reach a casino. While standing in front of that same casino, if I look a little bit further down the road, I'll see another casino. And before I even reach to the end of Simpson Bay stretch, there are 2 more casinos that need to pass my eye. And this is ridiculous, just to put it lightly. The whole state of Florida, Madam Chair, has less than 15 standalone casinos. And we here in St. Martin are currently trying to bring 2 new ones, or maybe even more. I've now understood that right next to Market Garden Supermarket, that a new casino is supposed to come there. While there is literally a casino right in the back by Pelican, a mere 90-second drive from where the new location is going to be. Food for thought. Then we understand that another one is coming up, the so-called Vegas Casino in Cold Bay nonetheless. And we all know that K-Bay and Cold Bay are areas, where we have many low-income persons, so this is basically preying on the people. It is not a tourist area. So, through you, Madam Chair, I guess my question would be, is this a message that we want to send to the people, especially the youth in St. Martin? Because it shouldn't become the norm of what we stand for. Casinos are meant to be a tourist attraction, not in low-income areas. Casinos are not meant to be put in front of K-Bay. Casinos are not meant to be put at the head and the end of town. Casinos are not meant to be put within the middle of Cold Bay. They're not meant to prey on the local man, Madam Chair, but that is exactly what's happening, and I do not understand how we have allowed this to continue for so long. To you, Madam Chair, are we looking into doing a saturation study, and after that, are we going to look into a complete ban of these casinos? Because that's what I think should happen. Not only a stop, but we should start shutting some down. The ban is also necessary, Madam Chair, because we have a loophole in the law. At the moment, and many ministers have helped big developers use this loophole against the country of St. Martin, it seems as if it is practically known by the big developers that if you bring forward a building permit that has a project that reaches 200 units or more, you can automatically apply for a casino license. Well, I think that regardless of how many rooms a new hotel brings, you should not get permission for a casino, period. We simply have too many casinos on the island with a population of less than 100,000 people. For comparison, the French side has 0 casinos, period, against the law. And also to play devil's advocate, Madam Chair, because I know it's going to come, the counter-argument would be that yes, casinos create jobs. That is true. But even there is also clear abuse going on. I personally know of people who have been working at a casino for more than 15 years. But guess what? She is not a permanent employee. Why? Because every 3 years, she gets let off for 3 months, only to be rehired after, simply to avoid making her permanent. And that's against the law. And just like her, there are many similar cases. So I guess my question to you, Madam Chair, would be, or maybe a question to the Minister of Labor as well, are the checks being done when it comes to these casinos, when it comes to the labor contracts? And more importantly, are all these casinos up to date with their taxes?
So, yeah, let me shut it down. Let's continue the ride. I hope you are ready for this one. As you know, the founder of St. Martin decided to give a masterclass on history, and I hope I get some music with this one, Maestro. I want some background music while Sarah is speaking, some nice history music, because she brought us down the history lane and why we should have a retreat for all the ministers so we can sit in a circle and sing Kumbaya and also hold hands and find out what the troubles are of St. Martin and how we are going to continue to focus on what is important for the island. Auntie Sarah went on for 46 minutes straight in the House of Parliament yesterday. Everybody was like, she giving a master class. The problem is, she's the one who developed the master class. You see what the problem is? Let's listen to Auntie Sarah. But it was good though, it was a good speech.
I ask about the state of going towards alternative energy, about the multi-annual indicative program of St. Martin by the EU in connection with alternative energy. I repeat, I think it has been asked before about the status of the SER chairperson. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for responding to my question regarding the cabinet of the Minister Plenipotentiary in The Hague. What the Prime Minister did, Madam Chair Lady, in responding to that was also to get a feel and reaction from our Minister Plenipotentiary. But there again we see where a need for additional persons at that cabinet to assist our residents who either live or happen to be in the Netherlands. And it is a matter of having budget and capacity. I want to continue, Madam Chair Lady, my discussion that I've had with the Prime Minister, both verbally as well as in writing, regarding the statement by the State Secretary on the issue of integrity involving Transparency International on St. Martin and the other CAS countries. And why am I so specific about this item? It is because who know. And fact is that Transparency International has been on St. Martin, has made an assessment on St. Martin, and one of the results of that assessment and other reports commissioned by St. Martin regarding integrity on St. Martin that led to our integrity chamber. I think that's why I'm a little disappointed that the fact that our integrity chamber law, our national ordinance, by the way, for which we had to fight for it to be a national ordinance. Otherwise, it would have been a mutual agreement. It would have been an onderlinge regeling. while the State Secretary himself acknowledged that this is a matter of St. Martin. This is our issue for us to address and for us to solve. So I want to encourage the Prime Minister, Madam Chair Lady, to seek of getting or to get to the evaluation of our integrity chamber. In fact, the proposal from the State Secretary, as communicated to the Prime Minister, should be put with the integrity chamber. I've understood that our request, my request, for the results of the employee survey of the government will be made available and shared with Parliament. I want to understand how we are going to apply. I remember vividly in the Prime Minister's inaugural address for this government, referring to the Disaster Reserve Fund, and that will be put towards infrastructural improvements. And I would like to know the specifics and the plans therefore. Many of my colleagues have addressed the issue of the road network on St. Martin. And I want to thank the Minister for his responses. And I know we're now just making sure that, and we are now, I could continue now. I was just making sure I saw the chair ladies look in terms of sufficient persons here. And I want to thank, as I was saying, Madam Chair Lady, through you, the Minister of Vromi for his responses to my questions regarding the road network. But what I don't understand, and I think it is something that if we don't carefully guard against it, we are going to end up trying to stretch a guilder to more than 100 cents. Meaning, the funding that we have, we're trying to put it in every area, so no area is really structurally dealt with. And with that, I want to find out from the Minister of Vromi through you, Madam Chair Lady. I received your answers. What I didn't specifically hear is what is considered a private road? What is considered a private road? How are the choices made to serve hard surface, so-called private roads? And then what I don't understand, Madam Chair Lady, and that's why I mentioned stretching a guilder to get more than 100 cents out of it, because in the responses by the Minister of Vromi, reference was made to the Aki Tree Drive in Colby. That, according to what was projected, 300 meters were hard surfaced for 190,000 guilders. Why would you undertake such a project and you cannot complete the entire road? Are the persons on that road at the lower end more entitled to have the road hard surface than those higher up? How could you stop the road halfway? Forget about what the lack of drainage of that road did to the persons lower down in Colby, including myself. Forget about that. But explain me why, if you're going to hard surface a road, you're going to do half of the road. Explain me that. Minister of Vromi, I am so happy that you have taken up the issue of the administrative sanctioning that is possible. And I think that part of the answer to many of our issues today lie in that possibility. The possibility that can be given to ministries to sanction behavior, to fine behavior. There is a law on administrative sanctions. And specifically for the Ministry of Vromi, that law has been put into effect. And so, Minister, I want to encourage you, and I'm going to come to how I believe this can be done, to make use of that possibility. And it's not about what you collect out of it, it is about the behavior that you can deter and restrict because of it. So this bestuurlijke handhavings implementation for Vromi was done in June of 2022. And I encourage the government to use this tool as best as you can. Because we have, so many of my colleagues have stated it, getting persons who act in contravention of the law, especially where their behavior is concerned, on the public roads, where garbage is concerned, etc., to go through the criminal part of it is onbegonnen werk, as we would say. Yet the government have in their hands the bestuurlijke handhavings, verordening, and for Vromi in particular, for which it has been declared in effect. And then I need to add in here, if I can get an update on the monkey project that was put in the hands of the Nature Foundation.
Because you're not in government, Auntie Sarah. You're not in government. But you're going all out there and you're saying all these things, but you're not in government. You see, I was like a kid yesterday when I watched the Parliament live. And I was just watching Auntie Sarah go, and I was like, yes! And yes, we should do that, Sarah, yes! And I was like, yes, this is so inspirational. This woman is amazing. She's an icon. She's just amazing. But she ain't government. Shit. She ain't government. So that means she could actually do the things that she say she want to do or other people should do for St. Martin. Like Auntie Sarah could just say, listen, do this now or I pull my support. And then Luke going to go like, excuse me? I go to the bathroom, come back. What he doing in the bathroom, we don't know. Anyway, let's go and continue down the line. This time, we'll give you 2 for 1. Yeah, we'll give you 2 MPs. Yeah. I even go introduce it. Take a look.
MP Myers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My mic is not green. That's good. It's good? Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening to my colleagues in Parliament, to the Honorable Council of Ministers, radio listeners, televiewers, those of you in the Tribune, and those of you listening through social media. Madam Chair, I've sat and I've listened and I've understood. You know, the other day I was in church and the preacher gave a sermon, and it's interesting because this is where we find ourselves right now in St. Martin. And he gave the sermon, and it was about Moses leading his people to the promised land. And I say this, and I don't want to sound like a preacher, because I'm the son of a preacher, but I'm not a preacher. And what is interesting in that is when Moses led the Israelites was leading them to the promised land, it was supposed to take 11 days. A journey that was supposed to take 11 days lasted 40 years. And the scripture said it lasted 40 years because of grumbling, selfishness, a lack of trust in God, rebellion, and failure to reflect on the ways in which God lives his life. And then we ask ourselves, aren't we doing that right now? We have a great opportunity right now, because right now, St. Martin is in its darkest days. There's no two ways about it. We are faced with high crimes that is going to affect or has already started to affect our tourism product. Our island is dirty. Our young people are dying at an epidemic pace. And we're in the position in which we can make or help make the firm decisions to right the ship. Crime is rampant. One of the things that I could never understand about politics is the fact that had the election results turned out differently and it was another government over there, this would have been the same budget they would have been presenting under the circumstances. This would have been the very same budget that, and you could sit in government today on the verge of presenting a budget, and then tomorrow when you're in opposition, you criticize that budget that you would have been presenting yesterday. We can do better than this, man. We have to do better than this. If we do not do better than this, we are contributing to the destruction of this country. It is impossible that you can have numerous ministers of finance, numerous ministers of VSR, justice, VROMI, and the same problem persists. Why do you think the same problem persists? Because we're focusing on the individuals and not the problem. We are focusing on Marinka Gomes, the Honorable Marinka Gomes, and Honorable Prime Minister Luke Messalina, and Natalie Tacklet, and Patrice Gomes, but we are not focusing on the problems. So I would like to suggest, Madam Chair, maybe we could hold a closed-door meeting in which the ministers and the Parliament could sit down, and we could sit down seriously and start to discuss some of those three things that I mentioned that we are faced with and how we are going to tackle them, and know that it's going to take some sacrifice from us as members of Parliament and some sacrifices from the Council of Ministers, because we are going to have to right the ship. We're all on it. We do not have the ability to leave. We're all on this. We're all in this. There's never been a truer statement than we're all in this together right now. The shootings that happen on the French side affect us. To quote the late Felix Wazi, he said, when a gale blows, it doesn't stop at the frontier. That's what's happening now. This is showing the oneness of St. Martin. What affects one side affects the other. Yet, we come in and we make it about individuals. It's not about individuals. The problems and that's what's happened. Years ago, I was watching a commercial on TV, and I tell people about this commercial all the time because it's a security guard in a building and he's chasing a thief. And on the ceiling, they have sector 13 and 14, and the thief runs from sector 13 into sector 14. And then the security guard stops and he said, sector 13 is secured. We're taking care of what we have to take care of, and we don't worry with anything else. That's where we are today. And that's because each and every citizen of this country have forgotten what their responsibility to this country is. It's not only the politicians, it's every citizen. We speak about the garbage, and yes, this is the dirtiest I've ever seen St. Martin. But it, just like it isn't the minister of Romy throwing the garbage, it also isn't the garbage contractors. It's we as citizens. That's where we are. We've lost our pride. We do not, St. Martin has become a transient community where we do not care. It's a place where people could come, make money. It's lawless. The social fabrics of this country has totally broken down. Why? Because it is easy to say that government isn't doing what government is supposed to do, and totally negate your responsibility as a good citizen of this country. St. Martin has been good to so many all over the world. We brag about 110 or 120 different communities here. People brag how they come to St. Martin with $2 in their pocket and they have $1 million today. That's what they brag about this little 16 square mile island has done for them. This little island with so much potential, and what we are doing to it now, we are destroying it. Because you know why? And I said it in the first meeting, when we do not make the decisions that we have to make, we're going to be forced to make them when we don't want to make them. I have a few questions to the Minister of Justice. Just a few questions, and I'm going to... how many police officers do you have on staff now, Honorable Minister of Justice, through you, Madam Chair? Can you tell me what is the amount of police officers that is needed that will have St. Martin feeling safe? Because safety is one of the things that's a main concern. Almost every member of Parliament got up today and spoke about the safety of this country. And if you live in a country and you don't feel safe, that's like me telling you, you know something, I am going to Ukraine on vacation next week. The first thing you're going to ask me, is it safe? I want to know what is the number, because that is something we're going to have to try to reach. To the Honorable Minister of TIAT, how is the project in Indigo, V11, going? How is the advancement of the, and I know you're not directly involved with that, but considering that it's tourism, I want to know how is the feedback. And the reason I ask is because it's marketed to be a high-end 5-star hotel, and as such, it is something that I believe is needed in our little island. There was an article, and my colleague MP Otley mentioned it, about the situation at the EDC. I would like to know how far the ministry is with that, and as it regards to, is there an investigation on it? Were funds misappropriated? What is the actual situation as it pertains to that, what happened at the EDC based on the article that I read? And to the Minister of Education, MP Peterson hinted on it. What is the situation with the monies that was misappropriated at the Charlotte Brooks Inn? That's a fact. Over 2 million guilders was misappropriated. There is, it seems like it has gone flat. Again, I know it happened before you. I'm not finger pointing to any particular person, because the person who misappropriated the funds, that is the person that should be held responsible for those are government funds that were government subsidies that were given to the school to help enhance and you have to be a special individual to steal 2 million guilders from children.
And I fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to be. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me all that I should know. And I fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me how to wait to be. To evoke some empathy. And I fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me how to wait to see. Show me all that I could be.
Hello, my people. Make sure you tune in to Sit, Sip, and Chat every Monday at 5 p.m. on TV 15 and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.
And make sure tune in to the Late Night Show with Andrew Dick from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. with a repeat in the afternoon for no reason. In the afternoon, the Late Night Show at 3 p.m. Thank you, TV 15.
Thank you, TV 15. Make sure to tune in
Make sure to tune in to the Late Night.
and Sit, Sip, and Chat.
Late Night.
For over 50 years, we've understood the power of connection. Back when connecting St. Martin to the world seemed impossible, we made it possible. From pioneering international calling to introducing digital mobile services and laying the foundations for fiber optic technology, we've kept you connected wherever life or business takes you. And through it all, we've proudly supported the vibrant culture, traditions, and people that make St. Martin unique. But that's not where our journey ends. It's where it starts again. With a brand new commitment to connecting you, we've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to improve our services and bring you a better, more reliable network. We've restored the SMPR1 fiber cable that connects St. Martin to the world, ensuring faster speeds and greater stability. Our mobile platforms are being upgraded, and we've expanded our mobile coverage so you can stay connected wherever you go. Our new customer service system is easier to use and more efficient than ever. Plus, we're continuing to expand our fiber network, bringing you the most advanced internet available. But beyond pioneering technology, we're committed to uplifting our community, because this is our home too. That's why we provide free connectivity to many schools across St. Martin, equipping the next generation with the tools to connect, learn, and grow. At Telem, proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
I think that some of the other ministers can take a page out of this book for future presentations and future budget debates. I would like to quote the Honorable Minister Marinka Gomes. Tax revenues for 2025 are projected at $453 million, up from $426 million in 2024. This growth is largely driven by increased wage and turnover taxes, supported, now this is the important part, supported by new construction projects that are expected to stimulate employment. The reason why I smile and I mention this, Madam Chair, is because I took a beating in the last election and the election before that, because you signed too much building permits, you're overbuilding. Now, 2 seats down from the Minister of Finance right now, there's the Minister of Vromi, who, in my opinion, based on certain statements, whether it's from the party or separately, individually, is anti-development to a certain extent. And then they use the word sustainable. But my thing is, through you, Madam Chair, is that we have to be clear to the people, because if you ask me, I am under the impression, and my colleague, I think it was MP Irian, asked the question earlier, are we going to see a building stop? Is a building stop on the way? That is a question. That's my first question, Madam Chair, through you, to the Honorable Minister. Do we have a building stop on the way? If so, let it not be a surprise. Break it down to the general public, because as you know, many persons, besides commercial, there are persons who want to develop their dream, build their dream homes, and to just say we're going to crack down, we're coming with stringent measures, it's kind of leaving a lot for interpretation. So through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to ask for clarity on that point. Madam Chair, I agree with a lot of things that was said by the speaker before me, but one thing stood out and I can't agree with it. I don't agree with the fact that the previous speakers mentioned that if the other governments or the previous government or something along those lines was in office, we would have received the same budget. The reason why I don't agree, Madam Chair, is because we had revenue-generating measures in it. That has been my concern from the beginning of this debate in the CC. It is still my concern now, and I hope that message can resonate so that we can see something different coming forward with more substance in the 2026 budget. I'd like to start by bringing forth some points of concern, questions, through you, Madam Chair, to the Minister of VSA. There's been a lot of discussion on the whole HAP. It closed, it opened, discrepancies, different things. But up to now, I haven't gotten a clear answer from the government. What is the way forward? Are we going to involve other general practitioners? Are we going to cancel it completely? What is the intention of the ministry when it comes to after-hour care? Because, Madam Chair, I must say that I am someone for sure that have made use of it, whether directly or indirectly, and having that option is a great thing for your people, because we know how overcrowded the emergency room can get and how difficult it is at times to get attention, and sometimes you're not even in an emergency, but you require care. So that is my next question to you, Madam Chair. How far are we with the HAP? What is the intention? What is the vision of this minister, this current minister, with regards to after-hour care? I'd like to move on, Madam Chair, to the Ministry of ECYS. I mentioned where the concern that I had in regards to the 4-year-olds, not being 4-year-old, about to make 4-year-old. Once you're born on October 1st, you're born late. So this is my question. Based on the response that I received in the CC, the minister stated there is no current policy as the law is clear. However, some schools enforce their own rules. My question is this to you. How does the ministry intend to ensure that all schools comply uniformly with the legal framework? And immediate action, I believe, should be taken to ensure compliance. How does the ministry plan to address that this coming school year? I was surprised when I read that because I was always under the impression that there was a law and or a policy that prevented persons from starting school as they make 4 years old. So that is my question through you, Madam Chair. When will because I also got a response that there are proposed amendments. I would like to know through you, Madam Chair, when will the proposed amendments to the National Ordinance on Foundation-Based Education be finalized, and can the minister share a projected timeline for this implementation? I know that the proposed amendments include provisions for children born between October and December to start the first day of school, and for those born between January and June to begin on the 1st of January. Why can't all children born throughout the year start on the first day of school? I would like to know through you, Madam Chair, if there's a specific reason why that can be done. As it relates to technical and vocational institution and the subsidy calculations, I would like to know the following. The minister mentioned that a review of the lump sum system, the LSS, but provided a timeline extending to 2029 for a comprehensive assessment. Given the urgency, Madam Chair, can the ministry expedite the assessment for technical and vocational institutions? Is this an option? I would like to know through you, Madam Chair. And I would also like to know, has the ministry conducted an interim analysis of the subsidy models that addresses the inadequacies, particularly in addressing the high operational costs of technical schools? If not, can this be a priority? Is it a priority? What is the update with regard to that particular subject matter? I move on now, Madam Chair, to the Ministry of Finance. I would like to know, Madam Chair, where in the budget, where in the 2025 national budget of Country St. Martin can I see, or any member of parliament, or citizens of St. Martin for that matter, see that there are efforts to acquire Mullet Bay? Because a lot of talk can be had with first right refusal, no first right refusal. We hear debate in the budget today, Madam Chair. If the CBS, Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin, put Mullet Bay up for sale, and we happen to win, how do you plan to acquire it? Then you're going to rush to Parliament and ask for a budget amendment? That is my question. Where in the 2025 budget are funds allocated for the purchase of Mullet Bay? I would also like to know, Madam Chair, since the amendment was passed, what concrete steps has the Ministry of Finance taken to secure funding for this? So if it's not in the budget, what are the steps that were taken? Or where can we get information, documentation? Something that could substantiate the fact that the government, this government, the Messalina II cabinet, is working towards acquiring Mullet Bay for the people of St. Martin. I would also like to know, Madam Chair, through you, if this government can share its vision post the acquisition of Mullet Bay. So let's say everything goes all well, whether we pass a budget amendment here for CapEx or whatever have you, and we are able to acquire Mullet Bay. What is the vision of this cabinet for the development of Mullet Bay? I heard, through you, Madam Chair, the Minister of Finance mention about adjusting the function book to offer competitive salaries, and I believe it was in the presentation also. I would like to know through you, Madam Chair, where in this budget has an increase which relates to personnel costs to create competitive salaries? can I find it in the budget? Because I wasn't able to find it in this draft 2025 budget. I would like for the minister to point me out exactly where in the budget these funds are allocated so that I can inform some concerned civil servants that brought it to my attention yesterday. Madam Chair, I'll go over now to the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin. This is also to the Minister of Finance. I'd like to share some concerns that was brought to me by the way the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin is functioning, particularly regarding the impact on both the people and the business community of St. Martin. To quote the Central Bank, 2 countries, Curacao and St. Martin, have a non-bankable population of 12% and 17% respectively. This is alarming when we consider how people and businesses are spending. We have to ask ourselves just how much the unofficial economy has grown. And when this continues to grow because of the poor financial services available to them. It's no secret, Madam Chair, that families are struggling to plan for the future because they can't access basic financial services. Businesses are also finding it harder to operate, let alone grow, because the banks aren't offering solutions that meet their specific needs. It's more red tape and more red tape as we continue to go along. Some people have issues opening regular bank accounts, Madam Chair. That's no secret. We talk about the banking law. These things are happening. Madam Chair, it feels like every year there's a new set of laws and regulations and policies, whether it's because of international pressure, new rules from corresponding banks, or the fear of being blacklisted as a country. While I understand the need for compliance, Madam Chair, through you to the Minister of Finance, I believe that we need to find ways, and I don't believe that enough is being done to address the local challenges. Instead, the financial sector seems to be making it harder and not easier for the people and the businesses to function. Because one thing I heard when I was the former Minister of Justice in the CFATF conference in Antigua, while deliberating with other ministers of justice and ministers of finance and other financial institutional bodies, is that there cannot be a one-size-fits-all approach. What is applicable here, what can work here, cannot work over there. So I would like to know through you, Madam Chair, are these discussions already taking place with the central bank and government technical teams? If not, why not? And if not, when will we start these tough discussions to make sure that our people and our businesses can prosper? Madam Chair, I personally think it's time for Parliament, whether through the Finance Committee, to take a good hard look at the operational matters or the way of operating of the central bank and how these policies are affecting the people that we represent. We need to hear directly from the stakeholders who are being impacted. Let them come to Parliament to share their experiences. Let this be a closed door if the minister can organize such. And let the CBCS tell us if anything that they have done to address these concerns that have been plaguing our community over the years, and especially in the last decade.
So what have we learned today on the show? We have learned absolutely nothing. Are we doomed? Maybe. We'll just have to wait until tomorrow's late night to find out. But stay with late night. We continue to give you the highlights. Make sure you check our socials where you can see up-to-date stuff, what is happening on St. Martin. And or you be nicer in the comments, man. Jesus, they have kids watching it sometimes. When I see the comments, I get, oh, geez, or you can just go really hard. Take it easy. But continue to like, share, and subscribe. Anyway, that's it for the late night. Till tomorrow, have a good one. Bye-bye.